Well, I'm delighted to say that I'm joined now by Steve Nash, Chief Executive of the Institute of the Motor Industry. Steve, great to meet you. We're really looking forward to finding out about your industry. But what are you hoping to achieve with this new partnership with ITN Productions?
What I'm hoping to achieve is to get across to people what a fantastic industry we work in. You know, what a forward-looking industry it is. To kill some old-fashioned stereotypes, and to let people know that this is a cutting-edge industry, a fantastic industry to come and work in, actually.
So let's look to the year ahead. What objectives would you have as an institute for 2016?
Well, one of the key things we're looking at, actually, we work in an unregulated industry, and one of the key things we're working on is we're lobbying the government on regulation. Because we believe that people working on cars, with the new technologies that are coming, I mean, we're right on the edge of a big paradigm shift with intelligent vehicles, electric vehicles, alternative power sources, and so on. That requires real professionalism, and we think the time has come. As the professional body for the motor industry, our big aim is to differentiate the professional from the unprofessional, and there are plenty of very, very professional people working in our industry. We spend about £100 million training people a year as a sector, and we want to get that across and not use it as a way of both raising the image of the industry, but at the same time attracting people into the industry, because it's a great place to work.
So there's exciting times ahead, some big challenges as well, but thinking about what as an industry you contribute to our country, it's rather enormous, isn't it? We couldn't really do without the motor industry, could we?
No, not at all. I mean, 10% of exports, 64 billion plus turnover. We employ directly 770,000 people, of which about 200,000 work in manufacturing and 570,000 actually work in automotive retail. And that's the bit that often gets overlooked, because it's clear that governments, well, all parties actually, are incredibly excited about what's happening with our manufacturing industry. Massive resurgence, very, very successful. But of course, there's no point in making them if you can't sell them. And then with a volatile market, world markets like we've seen in recent times, actually the UK retail motor industry has played its part enormously, taking more than 20% of all the cars that are built here. So, it's a symbiotic relationship, and that's something, again, that we want to get across.
And it's fair to say it's an incredibly fast-paced industry, isn't it? It's moving very quickly with lots and lots of developments. Do you have enough people coming into it to support that growth?
That's a real challenge for us, actually, because I mean, I think all industries are facing a demographic challenge. I heard somebody described it as the demographic cliff coming our way, and this is baby boomers dropping off one end and generation X, Y, Z not being as numerous as the people they're replacing. So, being in a position to actually compete and attract people is huge, and no, the short answer is no, we aren't getting enough people coming in. We have some great jobs to offer, great careers to offer, and we need to get that across. 150 different roles in a retail dealership alone, which probably even surprises a lot of retailers, because they never sit down and work that out. But we don't just want people to sell and repair cars. We need IT people, social media experts, the whole gamut, lawyers, accountants, everything.
It's an industry increasingly reliant on technology, isn't it? You've already alluded to that in some of your past answers. But does that mean now people entering into the industry need different kinds of qualifications?
Yeah, they do. They do. It's an evolving piece. We are, amongst other things, as well as being a professional body for the sector, we're also the sector's biggest awarding body. 200 plus qualifications, over 20 different types of accreditation. And that reflects the broad array of skills that people need. Once upon a time, workshops in a dealership would be all about mechanical work. Today, more than half the work that's done is programming, and that's set to continue now as we get more autonomous systems, more alternative power sources, and so on. So, yeah, we really are on a sort of an exponential curve.
And Steve, technology is kind of central, isn't it, to everything? It's right across the piece, but particularly about keeping us safe.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I mean, it isn't just about the visible stuff that we see and the gizmos that you have in the car, although those things are taking us forward. But active and passive safety. I mean, we've seen in the last sort of 25 years, we've seen an enormous step forward in terms of what passive safety. So you're far less likely to get killed in a car because you've got myriad airbags around you and so on, and all those other systems. But what we're looking at now are things like collision avoidance, the intelligence in cars to stop accidents happening. So that kind of thing, that's hugely, hugely important. We're also, but from another perspective, we as a professional body are about keeping the people who work on the vehicles safe. And as this technology kind of increases exponentially, we're about making sure that people understand you need professionals to work on that. So you've got a 240 volt domestic electricity system. An electric car is probably carrying 700 volts. And so you have to know what you're doing on that. But yes, I mean it's all part of progress, and and again it's about making the car fit within society, so that going forward, the car and all transport systems, I think, will work together, and the intelligence we're building into the cars makes that possible.
With technology in mind, the industry has had a bit of a bashing, hasn't it, in the last few months. Is that a position that you can recover from quickly, or does that need a bit more of a long-term strategy?
I think the challenges are there to be risen to, aren't they? And I think our industry's got plenty of good stories, and I think in a way it's an opportunity to respond positively and get across all of the good things that we are doing and the positive reasons why people should view our industry in the very best light. And yeah, it's not been great news, but we can respond to it positively, I think.
And it's all about enhancing the professionalism of the industry, isn't it?
Well, that's it. And there are people who probably think the term motor industry professional is an oxymoron, and actually that's so far from being the case, and I guess that's what we're here. That's our fundamental role in life. I think we were set up 95 years ago as a professional body with the sole purpose of raising the status, recognition and employability of people working in our sector. And although we have different words around it today, that's broadly similar to what we're still there to do.
Steve, my last question links us right to the beginning of this interview, which is all about communication, and actually communicating to your industry is as important as all the developments that you have within it.
Yes, I agree. I think you can never talk enough about the good things that are going on, and how we can face the challenges that are coming. Because it's, as I said, it's incredibly exciting. We've got so much stuff happening that's challenging but brilliant, and it's the reason why people working in the industry, regard it as a best kept secret. So this is an opportunity for us to talk to the wider industry and people outside of the industry, and tell them a bit about that, and get them excited as we are, within it.
Well, we look forward to talking to you again throughout our journey. Thank you very much for coming in today.